Today, Thursday, 4th of April of 2024, is a very special date in Lima. It's the epicenter of the revelation, of an incomparable revelation in the history of humanity. In this press conference of these new pterodactyl bodies will be presented new studies to the new bodies, non-human, that are also going to be investigated by the San Luis Gonzaga University. It's very important to take into account that this finding, Luis Mantilla and Jaime Maussan have done different meetings and revised different papers with the government of Peru, but they have never received any kind of response from them. There has been a new body that has an elongated head and 3 fingers and 3 toes. All of these bodies that we have here since 2017 until today within these zones of Peru. Of the 3, the diagnoses are going to be presented from different scientists, very recognized North American scientists, some days ago, so that they have realized previous analysis independently, and we're going to publish all of these results in this press conference. We're also going to announce official details of this lawsuit that we're presenting against the government of Peru. Of these pterodactyl bodies of Nazca. Luis Mantilla, this researcher of these lawsuits that we're presenting against the government of Peru. Luis Mantilla, please. A round of applause for him, please. Thank you. This researcher
sin embargo, han habido voces y han habido colegas valientes que en sus espacios, a pesar de no ser, digamos, un tema que
most of my colleagues turn their back on me, and the politics and other stuff, and all of these very important things that we have in our country. And even though there's been brave colleagues that even if this is not
el hecho de que estos seres tridáctilos de Nazca hayan llegado a todos los idiomas y a todos los lugares del mundo es consecuencia de una decisión y el tesón que han tenido los investigadores.
So that has been interested in, and that is transcendental. But the fact that these pterodactyl beings of Nazca that have been in all of the places of the world is consequence of a decision and the bravery that all these investigators have had. And new people that have been here researching, that have had some kind of participation in this investigation, And all of these people have confirmed that this finding has been extraordinary. We have had access to a new body. It's already been known. Some of them have already been known in the conference that has been done in Los Angeles. And it's unquestionably, they do not have mutilations in the hands, in the body. The elongated head has not been modified. And as you have been able to see, they have oblique eyes, and they are not alike to any human being. And they have some implants over the skin. How could all of this been being able to get here? And this is what they are researching here. And the most recent body that we have been able to get under reserve. And some biologists and researchers and experts in the topic, all of them think that this is extraordinary, and that's why this press conference is called the ultimate proof. Because really, the only thing that is missing is that one of these beings gets up and walk. It's been a tough way, and the news of all of this of this new body. This is a big body. It's not these little bodies that we've also found. And all of those people that have been trying to not give credibility to all of this. But this is really spectacular, and how the professionals are describing it. This has not been in the hands of the Peruvian government. So maybe we have had convivence with other species. So just by logic, do you really think that we won't bring here dolls to such prestigious institutes? This stuff is real. These are actual biological and organic bodies that we have found here. And I want to thank the presence of all of these people that are here.
Ha habido tesón, ha habido firmeza de parte de las autoridades de la Universidad de Ica, que son las que tienen estos cuerpos en custodia. Por eso les pido simplemente a mis colegas que
the public ministry that have been here, and it's all the same. The only thing that they've wanted to do is try to destroy all these bodies. And even though there has been firmness from part of the Ica University, who have all of these bodies in custody. That's why I'm asking my colleagues to open your eyes.
Tenemos la presencia, la visita de autoridades. Adelante, por favor. Quisiéramos saber de qué se trata.
Good morning. I'm sorry for the interruption. We're doing a preventive action with the Ministry of Culture, with the specialized police of cultural patrimony, in regards with the exception of the tridactyl Nazca bodies You know that the public minister, we protect all of these objects, and we want to know who is the responsible of the event, or who custodies all of these beings, especially of cultural patrimony. I'm going to raise a suit with all of this information that you're giving us here. These bodies are going to be presented here. Please, can you please take a seat? No, I cannot be here with you. I'm going to raise a lawsuit so that we can make a custody of these cultural patrimony. It's a custody that, according to our laws, according to the Culture Ministry. I'm going to let you talk now. Please give us your name, please. Right now, in reality, we want to dialogue with the people here. Your name and your charge, please. Please, your name and your charge. Adriana Lopez. I am the lawyer of the Ministry of Culture. Why are you here? We've already noticed that through social media, that there is a patrimony of culture here. You do not know anything of these bodies because you've not wanted to. This is an event. You are here. You are trespassing to a private event. Excellent. Make your lawsuit. You don't even know how these beings are called or named. You've been able to be here because you're authority, but you're in a private event, please. You can take a seat with us and you'll be able to know these bodies so that you can be able to open your eyes and see. Please take a seat, and so that you can contemplate these extraordinary specimens that we have here in Peru. Truthfully, this is an extraordinary fact. I really feel lucky to know that at last, after 7 years, the Ministry of Culture is doing what they should have done years ago. They are worrying about the patrimony. It's really good to know it. It's really good to know that you're actually starting to worry about this patrimony. There are lots of places that are being abandoned, that are ruins. But they're worrying about these pterodactyl beings of Nazca. Why haven't you gone to the university to studying them? Why have you not gone to the investigators? There are almost 50 of them. You can go do your lawsuit, and if you want to know these beings, you can take a seat and see. Thank you, Joyce. We're going to wait some minutes so that the people from the ministry can do their paperwork, and we're continuing with our program. Perfect. We are inviting... We invite, ladies and gentlemen, to Mr. Jaime Maussan to continue with this international press conference for the presentation of the pterodactyl beings of Nazca and Palpa. We invite the people from the press to accompany us with this press conference. Jaime Maussan is going to speak. A Mexican researcher who has more than 50 years of experience as a researcher. 3 times he has been awarded a national award in the Washington capital of Washington, D.C. He has also been awarded prizes in the UN, and he's been the winner of the Ongas Prizes of Spain, recognized for different institutions at an international level, and he's also the director of the channel Tercer Milenio 360 International in Mexico City. With you, well, due to this interruption, we are going to stop for some minutes this presentation, and we're going to continue some time, so that the authorities are able to accomplish with their duties, and we're going to continue with this investigation. We wish that in some minutes we would be able to continue. Thank you a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pause for some minutes so that we can await for the people of the Ministry of Culture to be able to finish with their duties, and so that we'll be able to continue with this press conference of the presentation of the new tridactyl Nazca beings of Nazca and Palpa. Meanwhile, we're not going to stop here. We're going to keep transmitting so that you'll be able to see everything. We're not going to interrupt anything because it's a private transmission. We're not in a museum. We're not we're not scamming or anything. We're telling the truth. We're going to transmit all of this transmission so that the public and the world knows what is happening here. Because you're interrupting a private conference, a press conference, you've interrupted because you're trying to know anything about the tridactyl beings of Nazca. It's good that you're here so that you can be able to know something about these beings. We're transmitting live from the Sheraton Hotel with the precursors salon. We're transmitting live the diligence of the minister that have arrived with the police, because they thought that here we were going to show irresponsibly bodies to the public. Our only mission is that to inform. This is a live transmission. It's really gone out of anything that we could have foresaw. This is an arbitrary. This is arbitrary. This is an arbitrary intervention. You can wait and do all what you want, but you've interrupted this event because you're trying to sabotage us, but you're not going to be able to do this. We're not going to cut the transmission. We're still live, and you're seeing through your cameras what is happening in this establishment. We're here also accompanied by some of the researchers of these bodies, so maybe with one ear while they are doing their act. To the president of the legal medicine of Peru, David Ruiz, please. Well, thank you very much. For those who are present here, it's really a loss that in this government, 17, the Ministry of Culture, the 7th minister, instead of supporting the knowledge of all the Peruvians, because this is for Peru and all of the world, because what we're going to present here is not a good of no one, it's a good of everyone, of the whole world, and the whole world deserves to know this. It is important to be conscious of the transcendency that we've had and the privilege that we Peruvians have. Thank you a lot, David. Well, the people from the Ministry of Culture, they're going out now, as you can see. What a great moment, really, for the history, for the anecdote, and for history, really. pathetic. They're going out. They're just going out, really, with nothing to show. Good job, good job. What did they think? That we were going to show here a mummy? That's probably what they thought. It's a good thing that you're watching our social media. You should be able to do that for the rest of information, but they know that this cannot be stopped. They know that they are wrong. Year after year, every action that they've done was wrong. Wrong after wrong after wrong, and that's why we're doing this international lawsuit against these inept functionaries. But those who are here and who interrupt arbitrary to this conference, those are inept. And that's my opinion, and I'm not going to change it. Because we have all the proof. Just as you cannot prove some kind of corruption, this is, I have the proof that they are being sent here by a higher up. The Society of Anthropologists of Peru. They should be here, and all other professionals should be also here. And they're very nervous because a lawsuit, they really do not have any means to respond to it, because they only have some photos that they have taken through a wall. That's everything they have here. We're going to continue with this spectacular presentation, and you'll be able to know the new being that is known as Montserrat. It's a being that is going to leave you flabbergasted. I leave you with Enrique. Thank you a lot. We're going to wait some minutes. I'm sorry the interruption, but you are part of this. You're part of history now. Of these activities and this press conference when it's being done. But really, it's really, we did not foresee this, but it's very surprising, because in some way, it's the first time, I think, that Joyce Mantilla and Jaime Maussan are being able to grab the attention of the government and the Ministry of Culture after a lot of years that they have asked for the investigation of these beings, that they've never been able to do it. But now, after they present these new beings, they are here to do a juridical action, and you'll see the results. I give now the microphone to our host, Jaime Maussan. Well, it results, it's really lamentable, all of this that has happened, which really demonstrates what we're really against of. We are against the incomprehension of the authorities, and that's why a lawsuit has been filed for $300 million, because what they're trying to do is to avoid a very transcendental finding as this, so that it's been able to be known throughout the whole world. Here we have very renowned doctors. Some of them have received the Grashock medal, that is considered the Nobel of forensic science, because he is one of the most important scientists at world level that is here. And also the director of anthropology of Maryland State, and Jim Caruso, who is the director of this forensic sciences studies from Denver City. The three of them are very, very qualified to do this. I really hope that they'll be able to present the results, the preliminary results of this extraordinary investigation that we're doing. For this motive, I want to proceed to present the new findings of the beings, the bodies, and that we've able to research for the last years. Go ahead, please. Go ahead with the video, please. Here, as you can see here, the one at the left is the body that the Ministry of Culture investigated. This is a real body. This body is fake. We knew from the beginning that it was fake, and the Ministry of Culture never presented where it was found. Carbon-14 or DNA evidences that we did find. The body in the right has eggs, and the one at the left is fake. You can see the great differences within one body and the other one. The other one is fake, and that's why we've initiated this lawsuit, because it's not possible to compare these bodies. This is a head. This is a fake head. This is the fake evidences. This is what's fake. These are the bodies that the scientist from the Ministry of the Fiscally, Flavio Estrada. These are the bodies that the Ministry of Culture destroyed in the airport of the Callao city. And as you can see here, well, this is the letter. This is the letter. A moment, please. A moment, please. We're going to hear, please, the conclusions after 4 years of research of the University of Ica. We're going to repeat it, please. Israel, please. Finally, as a result of our investigations, the investigation team has gone to the conclusion that the desiccated bodies are completely authentic from a biological standpoint and do not show any signals of have been manipulated or fabricated of any way. Our scientific studies have been rigorous, and the results contribute to the authenticity of these bodies. 11 signatures of 11 teachers of the Ica University. This is the coordinator of the research, Dr. Hernandez, who also participated in the investigation. And in some minutes, Dr. Zúñiga will confirm. In Mexico, we were able to do live analysis through YouTube of these bodies, and scientists that had never been in contact with them had the conclusion that these bodies were legit. These are not fake. These were not manufactured. And I'm going to repeat, if these bodies are fake, then why the Ministry of Culture was here today? I think that their presence here confirms that they know that the bodies are authentic. They know that this is real. This is why, what do they want? They want to make the evidences disappear. They came here for the bodies to take them. These were all the analyses that were done live. This is the hand of Dr. Zalce that shows that this transmission was completely legit. You can find it in YouTube. This is the DNA analysis in this page. As you can see, this DNA has a little problem. It doesn't have the traceability that scientists need, but you have it there for those who want to see it. This is why new DNA analyses have to be made. These are the letters that we're going to stop a minute, please. This was sent to the Ministry of Culture the 11th of January of 2017 from INCADE. And here they asked the Ministry of Culture to get involved. Later, they didn't receive any response, and a letter was sent as well to the president that in that moment was the president of Peru, to the president Pedro Pablo Kuczynski on June of 2017. The letter was received and no response was sent. And 1 year later, in 2018, 28th of March, this letter was sent to the UNESCO to try and gather their attention. We visited the Ministry of Culture in 2017, and we tried to get them involved, something that until today they've just tried to do. I went there, they did not want to receive me. I insisted, I was there. They didn't come to me. I went to them, and they sent me to a functionary that didn't have any authority to tell me to send an email that someday they were going to respond. This happened in 2023. I went with my lawyer, Dr. Rafael Arcángel Perocal Ramos, who is here right now, and we presented a file to try to speak of this and try to negotiate with them the research. And this is some of the bodies that have been found. This is Alberto. This is Albert. Bodies that are yet to be researched. They have to be taken to prestigious universities, and some of the solicitudes that are going to make to the Congress, to the Ministry of and the country and the government, is for us to be able to take these bodies to prestigious institutes to other countries. As you can see, this is Albert. There's a lot of bodies. There's at least 100 bodies. 100 bodies that we were able to find in this extraordinary finding. 100 bodies. And there's seven different species. This is Josefina. Josefina, within other things, was the first time that we discovered that these beings had eggs in their interior. Eggs that are surrounded by blood vessels that nurture the eggs. They're not rocks like they've tried to say. And this is also not the head of a llama. These are legit bodies. And I insist that they have to be validated by science. This is the eggs. These are the eggs. They found them in different radiographies and tomographies researched by the University of St. Petersburg, and they are authentic. This is Luisa. She has a metallic implant of osmium. Osmium. Osmium is a metal that is very, very rare, that was discovered just 200 years ago. And these bodies are over 1,000 years ago. Maria is a humanoid specimen that has not been found until today. Until today, there is no any proof of mutilations or that her body was modified in any way. The bodies are authentic. Yes, it's very similar to us, human beings. That's why we think that we're humanoids. A humanoid is a body, a non-human body, that has human characteristics. This is Santiago, a body that we've just found, that we've just been able to find in January. These were some of the bodies that the Ministry of Culture tried to take away. An act of violence that they tried to interrupt a public conference. We have the right to say all of this, and they came here for the bodies so that they could disappear them, and they were not able to. As you can see here, the eyes are concave, and he has a very, very big head. Evidences that do not confirm that is a being, a humanoid being, but there is no evidence that it's also not, that he's also not. I want to be very clear with this. And the analysis that have been made show that there's differences with the human beings. So it could be then of convergent evolution. It could be two species that evolved the same way, but have differences one from another. Could it be? Can we be in front of this possibility of convergent evolution? Personally, I am not a scientist, but I think it's probable. These are the analyses that were made through tomographies, details that will have to be analyzed, I hope, in very prestigious universities at a global level. These are the digital prints. They are completely horizontal. These are not like the human beings. These are extraordinary images that we were able to find, where we could see the interior of the tooth and the interior of the beings of these bodies. It's incredible what we're able to do. There's a lot to be researched yet as well. Here we have not been able to find, not in the hands, not in the toes, that they were cut or that some fingers were put. Everything points towards these beings an authentic body. It's considered to be a child of 4 years old, that has 4 years old, and comparing it with the knowledge that we have surrounding human beings, it is a being that is also tridactyl. In his eyes, we found yesterday, utilizing microscopes. Well, here you can see what looks like eyebrows. It's actually this. These are fibers. So his eyes were actually sewn, but they look like nylon. Over 1,000 years ago, it was a plate with inscriptions. The fingerprints were, I insist, horizontal. Here there are his four fingers in every hand. All of this, I hope that this can be researched by scientists, by really renowned scientists. There's already scientists like Dr. David Ruiz, scientists like Dr. José Zalce, doctors or scientists like Dr. Suing, a teacher of Inca University, that have confirmed its authenticity. I'm going to present to you now a new being that we've just received some days ago. He's also a tridactyl being very similar to Montserrat. This is a being of an adult young female of about around 16 or 20 years old, with an extraordinary surprise, and this is the ultimate proof. This female was pregnant. How could this be falsified? Dr. Zalce will try to demonstrate, because it's hard, that the being that is within it is tridactyl. These are her fingers. These are not anomalies because the fingers seem to be functional. This is the size of the discovery. This is the great treasure of Peru. The great treasure. A treasure that there are some with particular interests that want to hide it. And they want to hide this. Why do they want to hide it? What is what they fear? Why do they don't try to achieve the research? We are going to try and ask them, and we hope that we can try to establish this lawsuit. We will try to avoid it. And we're going to ask for permission to take these bodies to the rest of the world so that it can be researched. As you can see, she has a gold implant, and we saw it yesterday with microscopes. And the skin was covering already the corners of this implant. Here Here is this being. It seems to have a large head. It's not. We need more research. It's in the interior of Montserrat. Her name is Montserrat Sol for the sun that she has in her forehead. That is very, very mysterious. Here we have this baby. We have named him Rafael. You have it here. Of a being that was pregnant. And you can see it here. You cannot deny the truth. Sí, todos están dejando. We apologize for the inconvenience. The source has no audio for the moment. As soon as we get the audio back, we'll get the interpretation going. subdue the scientific knowledge. I really feel, I'm sorry, but I really feel very affected and with a very deep gratitude. I manifest this opportunity that we've had to travel to a country, of course, a brother, a sibling country, that have received us with a lot of love, so that we'll able to show our real opinion of the situation. In this event, and that was the second hearing that was done in Mexico, we had to pronounce 11 teachers of the Incari Institute that most of us are medics, and we came to the conclusions of the research that we made with the limitations that we had of budget, of equipment, facilities, technology, whatever. But we're still progressing in this fight. We're not going to be intimidated. We're not afraid, because science has to impose in front of the things of archaic knowledge, of the knowledge that is no longer possible to practice nowadays. Science is advancing, and all of us human beings have the right to open our minds and know our truth. That's what they try to hide. That's why they try to hide with a finger. What is coming is an avalanche of information about these bodies that are appearing one after another. They will not be able to. Ladies and gentlemen, organizers of this scientific event, ladies and gentlemen, newspapers, and all of you who are here in this event, I feel a great emotion to be able to be here at this select in this project of investigation of the pterodactyl bodies of Nazca, of the National University San Luis Gonzaga de Incar, and I give brotherly greetings to all of you all. I want to communicate to the Peruvians and the whole world about these scientific studies and the results of the desiccated pterodactyl bodies that were found in Palpa Nazca, in Inc. Regarding the studies of the research team, I need to manifest that the studies were started in September and October of 2019 about the specimens Huevito, Victoria, Maria, and finally Luisa, that corresponded to bodies that are humanoid and reptilians that have special characteristics. And like every investigation progress, we advanced from the simple to the complex. I also want to manifest as well that those who started the studies were a select few that were brave enough to defy the pseudoscientists. And in this, I want to express my deep respect to all the people that wanted to know the truth of these beings that were completely unknown to the science. My greetings and my recognition to Jaime Maussan, that has always been here with us, to Joyce Mantilla, to Dr. Zalce Benitez, to Martina Ciarica, and other people, and to the members of the research team, some of them, Mr. Hernandez, Dr. Hernandez here, and other people that are here as well. They were the first who started the studies, institutions that wanted to show light surrounding these bodies, but they opposed to the study that, and they went to blackmail, ridiculizations, and lies that were told about all of this subject, and I really do not know what they're going to do with this terrible act. False testimonies are going to be raised, of course, but I hope that the press, national and global, that all of them have seen what has happened. The results of the studies of the 5 specimens started to have controversies between the interests of who believed the truth and who didn't. But the diffusion of the studies that were made in November of 2023 in the deputy chambers of Mexico has created a breakthrough in scientific knowledge. And I affirm with all assuredness that all of these results and the beings of different species, like the ones that are going to be exposed today, that are Santiago, Sebastián, Montserrat, and other, it's going to break all logic of our scientific knowledge, of the coexistence of different living beings that walked the earth in their bodily structure and anatomy. As it was said, there were very few people who started this process, and I see today that a lot of scientists are joining now with different specialties, nationalities, and are very renowned, that give a lot of scientific knowledge that is going to revolutionize the study of the nature and the man. And we're also not now. There exist different beings that are very different to us. This event marks the beginning the same that is going to generate deep changes, and there's a lot of aspects that we need to research, and that's why we ask for more scientists of the world to get involved, of professional colleges of Peru and the world, and all the institutions of good faith, of goodwill, because humanity has the right to know. I greet in this moment the presence of the anthropologist Manuel Cuentarrobles of the College of Peru. It's going to be very favorable for this topic. Thank you very much. Messieurs, this was the words of the coordinator of the research of the tridactyl beings of San Luis Gonzaga de Ica. We're going to continue with the program. We're going to hear and we want to apologize to those who are here, the professionals, and for the very regrettable moment of intervention and interruption, and the participation of the Fiscally and the Minister of Culture in this press conference that has caused all of this, but it really strengthens the theory and the research and the work that has been made by Joyce Mantilla and Jaime Maussan, the research of these bodies, and at last, I think, it's going to be an opportunity for the Peruvian state to pay attention to this very important discovery for the humanity. Now, continuing with our program, we have the participation of the Dr. Joe McDowell. He is doctor in forensic sciences. He's very renowned, and he has won prizes, professional, that has been recognized with the medal Gradwell for the experimental achievements and for his experience in forensic sciences. These prizes he was awarded in United States and he has been recognized globally to people and professionals that has obtained achievements in the sciences, in forensic sciences. This is our recognized and our renowned speaker here. A round of applause, please. Thank you. Okay, perfect. It's okay. We want to show that we have a translation team that is going to translate what is going to interpret what is going to be said by the doctor in this press conference. In the door, there's some earphones for those who want to hear the interpretation of our speaker. Please go ahead.
Good morning. Buenos dias. My Spanish is no bueno. I apologize. Professor, Doctor, you owe me no apology. All you have to do is look at the British House of Commons or many other congresses or organizations around the world, and you see that similar events occur. This is not a reflection on the people or the government of Peru. Things like this happen, and I'm not disturbed by us. I've been president of many international organizations. I've also chaired faculty council meetings and other types of meetings with faculty. And when the stakes are high, people become very involved. And sometimes we, including myself, sometimes we overreact. And so, again, I am not offended. So I do want to thank many people for allowing me the opportunity to be here today and to organize a small team of people who I greatly respect and have friendships, professional relationships with for many years. I know that their integrity is unquestioned. Their credibility is at the highest levels, and we would not be here if we expected anything to happen that would affect our credibility. The members of the team that I came here with, who are co-equals with me, they have merely asked me to speak on their behalf. But the other members are Dr. James Caruso, who you heard about, is a forensic pathologist, chief medical examiner of the city and county of Denver, Colorado. He is long-standing curriculum vitae. His resume is among the best you could ever find. Now the same is true of our other colleague, Dr. Willy Rodriguez. He's a forensic.
To speak on their behalf, but the other members are Dr. James Caruso.
The Armed Forces Institute of Pathology in the United States, and also the State Department has done missions for the Department of Defense and the State Department, as has Dr. Caruso. So you have the highest quality individuals who have been invited to come here. And I want to thank Jaime Maussan for helping us to get here. But let me assure you that none of us, Dr. Caruso, Dr. Rodriguez, myself, have received any kind of financial remuneration for being here. We are volunteering our time because we believe that this
associated with the government or universities. But remember that universities, the purpose of university is to do scientific inquiry. And if that is taken away from us or diminished in any way, then we all lose. But that said, I'm sorry if I rumble just a little bit, but I do want you to know that I often speak for my heart, and sometimes I am not totally clear in what I mean. I do have a small short script here today that I will refer to, and it will be very short. I think that's appropriate to the time that we are in this investigation, the point that we are. So, if I may, and I'm old, so I need glasses. I do want to thank the gracious hosts, especially the University of Bacon. They could not have been more cordial and professional with us. Everything was made available to us. That were requests, nothing was hidden, were kept occult. Everything was facilitated through us, and in no moment nobody told us, no, this cannot be. Everything that we wanted to see was provided to us. I assure you that Mr. Maussan did not interfere in any manner or injected his personal opinion or positions. What the doctors in our team wanted to develop. He said in the beginning of all of this that he would not influence us in any way through any result, any specific result. We're just reporting what we found. We're going to report what we found. I want to make it clear that the opinions that are going to be shown today, they are just mine, and the same can be said for Dr. Rodriguez and Dr. Caruso. They are private opinions, not of our employers or of our organizations. These are just our opinions. Peru is a fabulous place. This is my first time here. My experience has been very positive, and I can speak with my colleagues that have the same opinion of this. I've found very good people, open, and that give us the welcome. The welcome was very lovingly. The same has been the same can be said for the universities and the people that we've worked with, including Dr. José Zalce. That without his help, the progress of our investigation would not have been able to be as efficient as it has been so far. And I want you to know that this is a very initial stage. It's very preliminary. We do not have a final opinion at this moment. One of the things that we do want to comment at that we ask very respectfully to the government and the Ministry of Culture is that they allow more research with no objections so that we can reach the hypothesis. What hypothesis can explain what we're seeing today? If the explanations do not work, we will know that too. That they allow us to research. I firmly ask to my colleagues that have been involved in this that we have an appropriate respect to the cultural heritage. To the involved culture. We've done our best to respect the culture that we're maybe not as familiarized with. I can't believe the scientists. We want the scientists. They are not any better than anybody else. We may have better facilities. Maybe we can make recommendations of where you can be temporarily handed these bodies to other facilities that have better equipment that could see any evidence without any prejudice. Also, we want to consult the government or the Ministry of Culture to make any recommendations about how we could make better procedures of investigation so that we can do a proper forensic tests. I have never said that there's emergencies in forensic science. We require time. We require the time to get the data. Firstly, we give preliminary opinions that could maybe take us to a better and more concise answer later, because this is a step-by-step, so that we can determine if any anomaly could be modified or if it could be antique or modern, and with the appropriate forensic research so that we can evaluate all of this. Presently, our opinion is that what we have examined is worth it, and we need more research. We ask for the Ministry of Culture of Peru to facilitate the transition of these specimens to different facilities that have the required personnel, equipment, and facilities, so that more tests can be taken with more standards, with more forensic standards. And if the opportunity arises to appropriately work with the Ministry of Culture or with any Peruvian institution, we would welcome this opportunity to work with them. I also like the phrase, nobody is as intelligent as all of us together. I think we move forward much more faster like this. Also at this point, I want to take the moment to clarify that we do not have definitive conclusions, because it would be very premature of us to say that. As a topic of transparency and clarity, I'd like to everyone to know that nobody stopped our examination progresses. We were not restricted, and everyone was open and collaborating in this research. The declarations made by our team of research are ours only, and should not be understood as a final opinion or institutional. This is the conclusion of the research team. Thank you very much. Thank you, Doctor. And continuing with this program, ladies and gentlemen, we have continuing the participation of Dr. David Cruz. He's the ex-president of several institutions from Mexico and from United States. We give him the welcome, please. Well, maybe some of you don't know me. I want to present myself a little bit more, if you allow me to. When I finished my medical formation in my country, I was 25 years old. I was recently graduated, and I was brave enough to make a research project. In those times, I presented my research work, which was a renal transplant, and I was awarded the first awarded and I was awarded, just recently graduated, and I was able to participate in a lot of other things. My first invitation to the Academy of New York Sciences Academy was in 1994. And it was a very interesting experience because I had access to a lot of information in a lot of books when in those times we didn't have emails and the efficiency that we have now. After that, my passion, my initial passion, I postulated as so that I could form as a surgical surgeon, as a surgeon, plastic surgeon. And I can say with all that formation that these bodies are art, and so I entered, and 5 years later, because obviously, because I studied, not because I wanted, I also postulated to another specialty, which was legal medicine, and I also request in the first post in the most difficult university to get in at that time. So there was no more. And I had the privilege to get formed with the best that existed. In those times, they have captured the terrorists, and I was in the times that they captured some presidential assessors, and maybe because of my capacity, or maybe because I was exposed, but I had the opportunity to be able to make forensic research to these people. The circumstances and the opportunity that arises to one, and the challenges, and if you are successful or not. The point here is that I was in a television program, and I was invited, really, to talk of other topics. And the producer told me, well, I can intervene about what is being presented here into television. And it was exactly about these bodies, and I thought it was so elemental being those tomographies, because all my life I had seen tomographies. Maybe to some of you that are press, it's something. Maybe it's the first time seeing it, but I've been 30 years looking at tomographies, and it's something that I've been looking at all the time, and I saw very clearly that it was not manipulated. I say, and yes, of course. And I gave my point of view, and it seems that I had the privilege, Dr. Zúñiga, who is present here, thank you very much, Dr. Zúñiga, who directs the research team of the desiccated bodies. Now we call it the pterodactyls of Nazca and Palpa. He communicated with me, we made a Zoom call, to dialogue. I gave him all of my point of view, and I traveled to Ica so that I could see and participate directly. I also traveled to Mexico so that I could share, and you can see in the presentation. And now I have the privilege of, as a president of the Legal Medicine Association. This is an honor. This is not an act. This is not a question of that somebody names me a public functionary, like all these people that have come here to interrupt this event. They are people that live off of the state. They work for the state. No. I, as a member of the Society of Legal Medicine, the government has not paid me anything during all my charge here. I didn't even let them to pay me any travel, any ticket of airplane, because sometimes people they have opinions. I want to tell you something, that when I was able to finish medicine, my parents did not live in Peru, and they told me, come here. And I said, no, here, there's a lot to do here, like here in this country. There's a lot to do here. I want to stay here to do stuff. And here we have a lot, we have an enormous privilege, and thanks to Dr. Zúñiga and Jaime and my colleagues that are here, they have a lot of things to share to the world, and we've had the luck, because obviously these bodies are not of Peru, they are of the world. We have the privilege that they are in Peru, of course, but I think that it belongs to the world. And this, and that's why I'm here to share all of this with you. And obviously with the social media, because people has a very loud voice, they're going to say, obviously you're getting rich with this. Like if you knew that I could be doing other things. I'm doing this for love, to share because all the knowledge and all of this, I'm not taking that with me to anywhere. I'm in my 60s now. What I only know, what I really want, is not to be formed with fear. These people that just come here, that instead of staying here to hear, because it's fine that they come, but they should stay here to learn, to hear and learn, and then to discuss how we can collaborate, how we can help them, because for some reason it's very difficult. Because obviously it takes a lot of effort. But no, they just came here to make an act, and they do not actually care. Do you know what it reminds me of? Of the pandemics. The Congress invited me when the pandemic started. They invited me for a presentation because we have a friend that had a vaccine for the whole of Latin American. And he went, so I went. And she never saw any exposition. She was just there in her cell phone. And it was like, I don't know why she's here. This public speak person, she came here to do nothing. She didn't speak anything. Just like these people. The people that came here, they didn't really add anything. And the worst thing is that they live off of the money of the Peruvians, the money that we Peruvians pay. And it's really indignating. And I really want to say thank you to the president of the American Society of Forensic Sciences, Dr. John McDowell. Please, thank you a lot, and I'm sorry from me, for you, and from part of all the Peruvians to you for the bad times that we've just made you live, because it's really uncomfortable to be at these heights of development so that these mediocre people treat us like this. It's not the first time that this stuff happened, but one has to have courage to say things, and we have to be brave because we have the truth. We have the truth in our side. You and I have always had the truth in our side. For the truth. Thank you very much. We want to thank the participation of and dissertation of Dr. Ruiz, David Ruiz, the president of the Society of Legal Medicines in Peru. Now we will hear Mr. José Zalce Benítez, Dr. Zalce Benítez. Thank you, Jaime. He is a naval medic, ex-director of the Forensic Services of Mexico by the Secretary of Marines of Mexico, and director of the Institute of the Research of Health Sciences of the Marines in Mexico, to whom we welcome with an applause. Thank you. Hello, everyone. A lot of greetings for those who have allowed the advancements of this research of these beings. My recognition to Mr. Jaime Maussan and the teachers of the University San Luis Gonzaga, especially Dr. Zúñiga. I also want to express my happiness to the presence of Dr. McDowell, a very renowned scienceman and for the research of forensic sciences, and the lawyer Rafael Berrocal. And I'm going to start with my commentary, signaling that we have studied through different techniques and technologies to different tridactyl bodies, all of these being around 10 bodies and more than 20 pieces that I have had access to. Those that have had 60 centimeters or those that are bigger and that have humanoid characteristics. In the studies, they have been able to determine without a doubt that they are completely organic and biological, harmonical, and with no alteration or evidence of any kind of manufacturing, artificial manufacturing. The most recent one is a confirmation that renowned scientists have done, just as Dr. Caruso and Dr. William, that are here with us. Their observations and their commentaries. I agree with what they have to say, who say that it's very about all the research surrounding the tridactyl bodies. The most prevalent body is that named Montserrat, that has very similar characteristics of that known as Maria. Montserrat has been named as the ultimate proof, and this is due to the fact that in the abdominal exploration through tomographies and X-ray, we have found that she was pregnant, where we can see a body with that seems to be a fetus within a gestation bag, and we can observe that it's tridactyl as well. This makes makes stronger the fact that this is true and that this is genuine. This is Montserrat, a specimen of approximately 1 meter and 60 centimeters of height that has tridactyl characteristics in foot and hands, in feet and hands. We can even observe in the feet the presence of nails, of toenails. In the abdomen of Montserrat, we can determine that she is perfectly conserved as a fetus. This fetus was of great relevancy that we could find in their hands the tridactyl. We can find, we're going to show that image, and I'm going to try to show you with clarity where the fetus, its location and its unique characteristics. Of Montserrat, we can observe that she's very close to what we know as a human being, even though she has unique characteristics that makes her different, and so that she belongs of a tridactyl species. If we can see the abdominal content, please. Here we have, in her abdomen, on the left, as a fetus structure at the level of the pelvis, in which we can observe in the superior parts a cranium, a skull, a spinal cord, from which ribs are emerging, and extremities as well. At the height of the skull, in front of it, we find extended in a direction towards the head, the arm, the left arm. In these images of three-dimensional reconstructions of the tomography, we can see very clearly and we're going to signal it, the head and the spinal cord. Can we get back to the previous slide, please? There. Can we rewind, please? There. 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 The head, the spinal cord, ribs, and we can see the left arm going towards the head. We can go to the final part of the video, please. To the final part, please.
¿Podemos irnos a la parte final del video, por favor? A la parte final del video.
As a part of the studies we made for the first time an endoscopy in the abdomen of Montserrat. Within this endoscopy, we could find that there's tiny bones or muscular tissue that is broken in the interior of the abdomen, and in the part that corresponds to the waist of Montserrat, we can see a desiccated fetus that, of course, at simple view, we cannot. It's very hard to directly identify it, but with X-rays and the digitalized tomography and the three-dimensional reconstruction of this, we can detail with precision the presence of a fetus of approximately 12 centimeters. This, if it was human, it would be coincidental to a development of 12 weeks. We're talking about a fetus of at least 4 months, if we can compare it with the conditions of those of a human. If we can get to the final part of the presentation, please. This study of endoscopy was made yesterday in the afternoon. Is there any way to get forward into the video, please? The same image is being repeated. It's a loop. If we can get to the final part of the presentation, please. I apologize for the technical difficulties. The image is in loop. If we can get to the final part, please, so that we can see the structure of the fetus, so that we can explain it with clarity, please. Okay. This image, when it finishes the rotation, can you please pause the video? This is the explanation that I've been trying to do. Here, please. In the superior part, we can find the base of the skull. All of this is the dorsal spine. We can see the vertebrae, one by one. We can see the arms, and we can see the inferior extremities. Regarding the arms, I want to clarify the presence of what would be the humerus, of what would be the arm with its radius and cubit, and at last, what would be the wrist, the exit, or the tridactyl digits, making an involuntary space in a form of a hook, and in the region in the third finger in a hook form. I hope that the image can be as clear as possible for your understanding. This is the base of the skull, the vertebrae, complete, with the presence of the vertebrae that can be very clearly identified. Arms, lower extremities, and the arm. The humerus, or what would be the humerus, the arm, radius and cubit, or what would be the equivalent of those, the joint of the wrist, and the exit of the 3 fingers in the form of a hook. The first one, the second one, and the third one. I'm making this very important, and it's relevant because being an anatomical structure, a skeleton of a specimen of approximately 12 centimeters of long, it's impossible to falsify, to alter, to mutilate, or to make it be seen as fake. This is 100% original, biological, organic, harmonical, and evidently and irrefutable. And this is why, and lastly, it's very important to signal the relevancy, the importance, the preservation of these tridactyl humanoid bodies, that since the moment of being extracted, they have started degrading, they have started to decay, which could eventually lead to its total disappearance. So we should make all the research to the highest scientific levels, because we could recognize the existence of tridactyl humanoid bodies that should be accepted as a parallel evolutive chain as those as a human. As I have repeated in multiple occasions in my conclusions, these bodies are humanoid, similar amongst them, tridactyl, that deserve a taxonomical tree, its own taxonomical tree, and we have not been able to determine their descendants or ascendants. So we have not been able to find its phylogenetics. But here in Peru, we have bodies in different states or in different stages, like adult, juvenile, and now with the findings of Montserrat, in a developing fetus stage. This allows us to establish the similitudes, the physical similitudes between them, making them to belong to a family of phenotypical characteristics that are similar, being the tridactyl extremity is the most important part, so that we can classify this species as a different one, as a human. So I make the invitation to the recognition of this discovery and the need to continue with the needed analysis. Stop denying, and remember that the eyes do not see what the brain does not know. So please allow the knowledge to be the light and the guides for these tridactyl beings that deserve to be recognized as such, to get to the light and to the knowledge of the world and the humanity. Let's work together in the progress of the research of this very relevant case that could be the ultimate paradigm or the answer to those existential questions regarding humanity. You are very welcome to try and make more. Thank you very much, all. Thank you very much to you all. With you, there was a participation of Dr. José Zalce Benítez. Following up, ladies and gentlemen, we will hear the words of Dr. Ruiz Roger Zúñiga, coordinator. No, I'm wrong, I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, we can give the microphone to Rafael Berrocal. Please, a round of applause for him. Thank you. With my apologies, these things happen. I know that we have gone through a moment that has created an emotional disturbance for those who are present, but this is the heat of the moment, and it's also what we are in for, so we need to be calm about this. But I need to manifest. All of you have already said that the actions of the people of the Ministry of Culture have been negative, but I also need to confirm that it was an intervention, a completely illegal intervention, completely braved. They thought maybe that here would be able to find the bodies, the three-tactile bodies, to take them. But in those aspects, to take them and to do what they already know how to do perfectly, and to declare them fake or negative, these new evidences. But I think that just today we're transmitting, we're putting in the table of the world, of the humanity, the scientific knowledge to be able to recognize and to enrich the sciences in favor of the great humanity. If that's why you're going to confiscate, to steal, to intervene illegally, I think that you are completely in the wrong. So I'm going to summarize, because I think I know that we're a little tired, but as I said in the Mexican Congress, and as I said in Los Angeles as well, in the conference, in the international conference, today, I need to rectify in our country and in all the countries of the world. For these specific cases, we require still to make a constitutional reform so that what happened today would not be able to happen again. Because for that, we would have to have a juridical backup so that the scientists, the researchers, and those who really want to show the new knowledge of the sciences, we should have a complete backup of the state. But in this case, the contrary, the opposite is happening, and there's no backup. That's why they manifested. We came to see the intervention of a supposedly discovery, or a supposedly act of an act of a pre-Hispanic act or cultural. But here are the experts worried to clarify to the world what we are searching for is just the truth, simply the truth. This case is iconic in our country and in the world. Through the universal rights of the man in the world, it is imperative the right to the freedom of knowledge of sciences, and it's not being done. It's been mutilated by deleting actions of scientific research that are in favor of humanity. But we're in a denial state. I can mention a lot of scientists that had their past and they were denied, they were defamed, they were humiliated because they told them that they were crazy. But some decades passed, in some cases, or in some cases hundreds of years, so that they could be able to be recognized and to transcend. And thanks to those discoveries, today we base our discoveries, we base our sciences and our studies based off of them. This is similar, this is very similar, but because here the braves stand. Friends of Peru and the social media to the world. It's very important to clarify that these bodies that were found in Peru, specifically in Palpa, Nazca, in the Ica region, they represent a human responsibility. And to this human responsibility, there is a Mexican citizen, citizens of Peru. They've done all that is possible to demonstrate in front of humanity that if they were fake or if they were truth, within the space of what we can call extraterrestrials or humans. But we have proof of DNA, carbon-14, that they are thousands of years old. But they also have the scientific characteristics that one of the scientific algorithms do not correspond to humanity. So it's worth to say that we need a more deep research surrounding this topic. This case has been viral throughout the world. The incompetence that in some point the Minister of Culture showed that has damaged a person, and not only a person, but the whole community, the whole scientific community. The declarations of the Ministry of Culture saying that and denying that these are fabricated dolls, that they were manufactured, even if these bodies are still in the process of being researched, that they are in the custody of the Ica University. But they took as an example of bodies that were manufactured by the man so that they could declare what they declared at a global scale in a press conference, where in the Ministry of Culture, in the name of the state, they said that they were fake. This research is fake. Why? To scam people. During 6 years, permanently, and one of the quotes of the press and they told him, "You are a clown of Maussan." How do we call this legally? It's an insult. It's defamation. But filing a lawsuit is Mr. Maussan. But this lawsuit is based on the fundamental facts, which have, because formal laws have been broken and constitutional rights have been violated. And I'm going to detail these cases so that we are not tired, because it's a long time. Because of all that I has mentioned, a juridical process has been formalized with a preliminary act, extrajuridical, so that we could participate for a conciliation with the responsible of the state that made these grave facts and affirmations for the reivindication of a lawsuit, as it can be detailed as a damage $5 million. And for moral damage, and in total for $300 million. Because the honor and the dignity of the man, they do not have a limit to be able to catalog in scales of values what the dignity of the man costs, what the dignity of the human costs. There's no limit. The dignity of the man is invaluable. And Jaime Maussan is a person that is more prudent. And despite that, in the jurisdiction of Peru, this legal action will enable us to sit down and discuss the ways of the damage that has been done, so that we can come to a common ground. And the fruit of this indemnization, well, of course, this resource is not going to get out of Peru. Jaime Maussan said that these resources will stay for the construction of a scientific museum between Nazca and Palpa, in Ica. That is our compromise. Finally, it's not for us to make money. Nobody makes nothing to make money off of this project, nor the observations of the scientific studies that are being done. That's why, to you all, we call to the reflection and also for the authorities, so that you can take part on this action, to get involved in this investigation where the Ministry of Culture should lead all of these investigations. These new bodies that have been found of historical action and universal. That's why, formally determined, we should go and get the bodies that are throughout all the world, so that it can be, so that it can take them back to the origin, to the country, so that it can be able to be researched by men and women of all the world, by different institutions, public or private. I think that we should have the dignity, we should rise the dignity and the bravery to take this research forward. Each one from our standpoint, we should take part of this. And in my case, in my own personal case as a lawyer and knower of the law, I understand very perfectly that here it is our responsibility to keep defending and implementing and helping to get the objective, the main objective, to get to the truth of this scientific research. Thank you very much to everyone for the patience and for the apologies of the very illegal action that the authorities took. Because we are those who pay them, all of you. We are who pay the president, the congressmen, the ministers, the public spokespersons with our taxes. And they should be honorable in treating their employers. And who are their employers? It is us, people. And that is why they should respect us. But because we are already losing the fragility, the dignity, and the honor in our country, then somebody has to rise to tell the truth. People, we will have to make them respect us in our country, and also the rest of the countries where the rights are being abused. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we have listened to the words of Dr. Rafael Berrocal, doctor in political sciences. Finally, we're going to give the microphone to Mr. Jaime Maussan for the final conclusions of what has been exposed in this international press conference. With you, Mr. Jaime Maussan and Mr. Joy Mantilla. Well, thank you very much for your patience. I just want to say that we are willing to conciliate with the government. Our proposal is a possibility to take these bodies to different institutes and universities of top level that have sufficient and necessary equipment and facilities and personnel. I asked Dr. John McDowell if it is possible that he coordinates this research, because he is a scientist, because he is a very renowned scientist globally. And therefore, under his guide, we would be able to get to the truth without a doubt. He and other specialists, they will be able to finally determine, until what we know after being with them yesterday, the bodies are legit. We're not talking about that they are dolls or anything manufactured. They are not. We did not find any signs of them being altered. and the possibility, we considered the possibility of them being humanoid beings, and then the convergent evolution as a possibility. This is, we are just in the beginning. We're not in the finishing line of this. There's still a lot to be researched and a lot to be concluded. I think that the lawsuit, and I think that the steps that are going to be taken, they're going to allow us to open the case and heighten it to other levels. I love Peru. I'm not against the government of Peru. I want to conciliate, because this belongs to the inhabitants of Palpa, of Nazca, and the world. This needs to be persevered. The bodies are being they are decaying day after day, and if we do not conserve them, they're going to disappear. We need to get back the over 100 bodies from the original discoveries through Peru and other parts of the world. And as I said, we need to do all the necessary research, and it's very expensive, but we're going to continue fighting. This is not going to stop us. I want the Ministry of Culture to hear us, to listen to us. They have not been able to do anything, and we have done it for them. And the legal facts with which we're going to continue, they're going to demonstrate that. Now, your conclusion, Joyce Mantilla. Now, we want to apologize to the public that through different parts of the world they're following this special transmission with the marvelous facts that we have shown, like Montserrat, a tridactyl being with a tridactyl fetus within her. In which conditions did she die? What was her final actions? If she tried to preserve her baby, we do not know. But in the position that she was found, it suggests that it is probable. And I invite you, my colleagues, instead of interrupting this private salon, and for the public that is seeing us, as in an arbitrary way, the police and everybody else. 20 people came here. That came and they just left. They left with nothing to show, because they thought that we were going to just make a show of uncovered mummies so that people could come here and photograph them. It was not that. And the conclusion for me is this: I invite my colleagues to take part in this research. I know that there's miseries in the politics, there's insecurity. The amount of robbery is in the large, but they should not interrupt this knowledgeable event that has no reason. And I invite you to give more spaces in different programs. We'll still give this in Mexico and in Peru. And a lot of our colleagues that are here and follow the case from a long time ago. I invite you, especially those who did not came here because you were not able to come here for different reasons, for politics or because or for different things. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We will always have in Peru events that distract the public opinion, but we need to focus on the transcendental, on what is going to be here beyond our existence. This patrimony, this very valuable patrimony, is going to stay here for even longer than our existence, than our children, and than our grandchildren. And I agree with Jaime. This will not stop us. This is going to give us more bravery to confront whoever we need to confront, so that this truth can get to the light. We have intervened with different species. We're not unique. Our ancestors, they admired them in different artworks, not because they detested them, it's because they admired them, and they imitated their anatomy. They tried to get close in some way to them because they admired them, they adored them. We should learn to live with this new reality. And thank you once again to be here. And thank you for the thousands of people who have been able to get into this live transmission, if it's in English or in Spanish. Thank you. Thank you, Jaime Maussan, also, to get this investigation done. It's very hard to make a research, an independent research, and if it wasn't for his help, and all the people that have been here, and the people who are here, Dr. McDowell, Dr. Caruso, and Dr. Rodriguez, all the people that have come here, people like them, Dr. David Ruiz, Dr. Zalce, Dr. Zúñiga, and the professionals of the University of Ica, and those from the National University of Andina, of El Cusco. There's a group of studies that have also taken part of the study, and all of this help into taking this research to take it further. But this really is the job of the scientists, and we have a group that they have studied this, and they have done the green light, and they've gone to the groundwork so that everybody could do the research. They come from Japan, from France, and they always have with a renewed mind, with new knowledge, and with a new discovery, which is extraordinary. We're not crazy, but we are passionate for the truth. And we're going to continue until this is recognized globally. I thank you very much, Jaime, once again. A round of applause for him, and thank you for accompanying us today. I leave you with Enrique. Now, in name of our organizers and hosts, Mr. Jaime Maussan and Mr. Joy Mantilla, I want to thank you, the presence of all of you in this press conference, where we have presented the proof and the studies that have been done by important scientists of these tridactyl beings of Nazca and Palpa. We want to invite all of you to accompany us to a coffee break here in the salon in the Sheraton Hotel, so that we can share with you and thank you again your presence and your participation in this press conference. Please have all of you a great day. Now, do anybody of you want to make a question? Please. Well, we can ask a brief question round. We need the questions to be punctual and brave, so that everybody who wants to participate can do it. Please, Jaime. Those who want to, Jaime and Joyce, they're going to be here to share and respond the questions of the men and the women from the press that are accompanying us here today in the Sheraton Hotel. Your question, please. Is there a microphone there, please? There's a microphone here that you can use, please. Thank you. Thank you, Joseph. Hello, yes. Very brief. Very punctually, because there's going to be a lot of questions. We want to know what level of conversation or a meeting do you have with authorities of the Ica zone, like what kind of authorities do you have contact with? We knew that there were authorities that supported them and are in agreement with you in that this should be preserved, because they have a very relevant touristic importance, and in Nazca they have the idea of they making a museum, because it implies a development for the zone that is very incredible. And we want to know if you have some kind of relationship with authorities, and if you can tell us about it. Well, we have had contact with the governor of Nazca and the governor of Ica. They were there, and they diffused in their social media the conference in which he was invited to. They tried to boycott it, those of the people of the Ministry of Culture, but the governor made all of this invalid. So, and it was a small event in a library. They are more worried to try to block and to censor all of this, and trying to actually to worry about the security and all the things that they should do. So yes, we have relationships, but it's more than anything cultural. There's not an actual direct participation, but there is an interest by their part on diffusing all of this knowledge. Now, there in the back, please. Good morning. My name is Eduardo. Please thank you for the invitation, which I have accepted with gratitude. There's two things that I do not understand. Firstly, if you say that they have eggs, and then you say there is a fetus in gestation, I'm not a specialist, but for me, there is, to say something, there is a contradiction. No. Please let me finish first, because I'm here as a friend, supporting you, not for the opposite. Secondly, you tell us that they are beings with no manipulation, but they also say that they have a metal incrustated, implanted. And thirdly, what is the point of connection with all of what we're talking about here, with the iconography, with the Nazca iconography, and with the wax, in which beings appear of 3 fingers? Point. And I finish off with this. Are we really in front of an important fact, or could we add, and ask the opinion of the scientists, the possibility that maybe these people or beings had a sensorial perception which is different? These are the commentaries that I wanted to do, and I want you to consider all of this. I am not here to disqualify your work, because I would not be here if that was the case. I feel great respect for all your work. Well, firstly, the first question. There's 7 different species that we have identified. The small beings, we have surprisingly found the eggs, so it's a species that is even more distant from the human beings. What was another of the questions? So they have metals that were put in them when they were alive. Those implants were made when they were alive, and we refer to the manipulations that could be able to occur post-mortem, so that they can pass off as pterodactyl beings, like mutilations or other stuff. And the third question about the iconography, I think it corresponds for the experts. I think it's pretty obvious. Thank you a lot for the question. Really, in truth, I am recopiling about this. I'm studying this specific topic. There's a lot of evidences, not just there, in Nazca and Paracas. Oche. Oh, what can I say? Wari. Inca. It's not just in Peru. This iconography of pterodactyl beings, it's throughout the whole world. And in the primitive communities, through pre-Hispanic stages, like in American history, but in the world of the same times. But the representations are identical to the reptilians and also the humanoids. More to the reptilians. When you ask why some of the beings have eggs and other have fetus, we're talking about the reptilians that are more similar to the reptiles than to the humans. They have eggs. They are ovipare beings, so they develop. So the egg develops in the abdomen, and then it hatches inside of the mother and then gets out. There is a Wari textile that shows specifically this process. There is a person in the knees, and the cloac is opened, and a being is being opened, is getting out of it, and there's another one within it. So we have a lot of evidences globally, and soon we're going to signal and compare all of these beings that exist in the whole world. Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. I ask for the following researcher, for the following pressman. Thank you a lot for the invitation as well. I'm Edgar Palomino from El Observador, Peru. There's a lot of questions in one. Firstly, we know very well that these beings could be reptilian for the tridactyl nature of them. I imagine that it could be them. It's an explanation, but also for whom to corresponds, whoever it corresponds. Why do you think this violent interruption was made? Why do you think that happened? Because, as our colleagues have mentioned, that have left with nothing to show, and what legal actions are going to be taken after this violent interruption. Good afternoon, yes. The question was very concise. What can and what we will do? Firstly, we're still going to wait. We're going to give the opportunity to the state through their spokesperson so that they can take the first legal action that we have done to a conciliation so that we can get to a common ground in good terms. I know that it has been an intervention, an arbitrary intervention, which should not be justified positively, especially, actually in the opposite, it was an interruption, a very negative interruption that allows to condemn and apply a juridical law that can be punished, but not with a penal action, but in a civil in the civil affairs. And that is how we can make these people to start acting. Instead, before acting, they should think it well, because in the end, all of the actions, those who make the wrong is who actually needs to take the responsibility. And the state is solidarily responsible. So the president and the ministers should be people that really are specialists in their fields, so that they do not make terrible mistakes like these ones. So we're going to take legal actions, but in their moment prudential. We're going to wait these 20 days in which the first conciliation ends, and we're going to start the formal lawsuit then. Next question, please. Good afternoon. My name is Brenda Vallejo for Con Lujo de Detalle. I want to make a very punctual question. I've thought that this project has already been taken a lot of conferences in different countries, and I would like to know with which governments you have already their help with, because you need the help of these authorities, and which governments of the world have rejected you, and why, in any case, why the reason of why you have been rejected, and why they do not want to take part of this research. Thank you. At the level of government, practically the only help that I have had is that of the Mexican Congress, that allowed me to present in a public hearing in the facilities of the Congress 2 of the bodies that were taken to Mexico. Not because of me, but because of something else. I knew, and I took them there. That's the only help that we have had until today. There's no support from any other government, and that's why we're asking the help of the Peruvian government to take this research further, If they were here with the intention of destroying these bodies, they are recognizing their authenticity. And if it is like that, then we want them to allow us to get them to different institutions that have the necessary resources to get this investigation further. This is what we should do. We do not have any more help. I wish that other countries do this, but there's a trap here. Meanwhile, the Peruvian government opens legally this possibility. No other government of the world will be able to take any action on this. The scientists, the universities of any place of the world, if they do not have the authorization of the government of Peru, they will not be able to be involved in this. So why don't you take them to other places? Or to the same place? University will allow this research if it's not authorized by the Ministry of Culture of Peru and the government of Peru. And this is and that is why, and it's there where we have the most resistance. The next day of the day in which in Gaia.com the first report of this extraordinary act. The following day, the archaeologists were signaling me that I cut the fingers that I had artificially modified the bodies, and starting from that point, they have always been in opposition of all of this. There was a doctor at some point and she said that she would eat a live cockroach with mayonnaise if all of this was true. And it is true, and she didn't. And I am not going to ask her to do it, but I am really asking the government of Peru that through their authorization, other governments and other institutions approach the University of Ica, approach us so that they can continue with the investigation. We are in the front of a physical physical evidence. It is physical. It is there. It can be touched. It can be smelled. It can be studied. And if it is like that, we can get to the truth. Thank you. Regarding also, we have a very direct version, because if the government, not just the Ministry of Culture, but the whole government, has received with the president from here, I will tell you, if you do not know, because some other people have filtered the information, I have sent 3 letters to the president of the country in August, in October, and in February, or January, if I'm not mistaken. The 3 letters speak of this finding, of this discovery, and that we are insisting for the 7th year that any government of any of the governments that we've had in the last 5 years to take part in this investigation. So you should take the letter that I'm sending you so that the Ministry of Culture can attend me. And of course, I'm not being received. That's why my lawyer has asked that we recur to the defense of the people so that we can take this. Because there's interest to give information and there's no interest of receiving it. That is the attitude of the government of my government, regrettably. They are not interested in knowing of this finding. They are dying of fear. That is what's happening, because it is physical evidence, and that would alter everything that we know as history. The archaeologists of my country, the scientists of the scientist community, they make their opinions known from their houses, from wherever they sit, and they do not do what scientists should do, which is science. Like the doctors that we have here, that come to here, they do their independent research, however they want to do it, and then they take their knowledge, and then they get to their own conclusions. But if our own government does not start by recognizing the authenticity of these bodies, no other government and no other university will want to receive all of these bodies because it is not authorized by the government. But please do not think that the government is going to tell you the truth. The governments hide the truth. And do not also believe in the press or the fake dolls that they are putting there. The truth is here, with the approval of the science. Thank you. Last question, please.
I'm from the United States of America, from the state of Kansas, and I'm an independent journalist with incredible history. My question was
is for Mr. McDowell. If you can please explain to us the ideal process that could provide a timeline of how this research could be done, how could it be reviewed by this investigation as well? Could you please summarize your question? If you could please summarize the process of the review and something like that. If you were able to research the bodies, what would be the process or a timeline of how all of these procedures can go on? Very good question. All that we do here in science, we hope that it's reviewed by different people. The social media have published papers, and they should also be reviewed by different people. Peers. The keyword is peers. Peers. People that are at the same level, academical level, that can work with this hypothesis. The recollection of data, the analysis of data, and to evaluate the conclusions that we have come to, so that something like this can be reviewed by peers. Did I understand correctly your question? Firstly, we have to show the discoveries publicly, so that it can be criticized openly. The time, it's going to take the time that it requires. I think that Dr. McDowell has summarized it pretty good. And after some preliminary results of DNA studies, we want to take it to more laboratories to make carbon-14 tests. This is the kind of stuff that we're looking for. These results are very preliminary, and we really need more research for this. We need to answer more questions to be able to know the following steps. For Dr. McDowell, would you be willing to continue with this research? Is it worth it? Yes. And are you willing to coordinate this research if we have the agreement of the government of Peru? If you ask me and my colleagues and other individuals, that if you can coordinate this and to help for this to go forward, if there was no obstacles from the government of Peru or the Ministry of Culture, I do not want to create an environment of division, but an environment of collaboration. Then I would be willing to. It should be done in an openly free environment to exchange opinions, and that's what science is. And it needs to be looked at other scientists too to review whatever work, if they're willing to take, to ask on, to continue this work at a very high level, in much more detail, to make a determination as to what exactly is what we're looking at. Next question. Next question, please. Hello, can you hear us, please? 1, 2. Good afternoon. I come from Portal de Investigación y Matriz. I want to mention what happened with the intervention of the fiscally and the police.
Sipan Lord was discovered, an archaeological find in the north of Peru. Also, the founder, the person that found this Lord of Sipan was killed. And there was, his family never found justice about this.
And somehow the government of Peru, within the Ministry of Culture, what they want to know is to deny what they found and not what the archaeologists have found. In that sense, I would like Mr. Maussan to give a message to the Ministry of Culture, please. Yes. Firstly, it's very unfortunate that it was found by vaqueros. In this case, Mr. Leandro was looking for gold metals, and he found these beings. To that side, it was unfortunate, because if it were to be an archaeologist, we would be at another level. But it is also fortunate, because if he didn't do it, we would not be able to be here either way. So we need to get over that moment. We need to reconcile with the scientists and the anthropologists of the Peru, and to take in their hands and to guide this investigation, to lead this investigation. This does not correspond to us, the pressmen. This belongs to scientists. And I hope that we can reconcile, given the size of this discovery. Listen, maybe one of the most important findings in the history of humanity. How is it possible that the Peruvians themselves want to destroy a treasure? It's their treasure. Just to think about it, what it means for their country, what it could give to the inhabitants of Nazca and Palpa. Why take it away from them? For ego? For a personal situation? For jealousy? For venal questions? I think we should go further beyond than that, and in function of Peru itself. And as the lawyer Verrocal said, you are the ones who are paying these public men. And I think that this discord we should get over it, and to find some kind of agreement so that we can work with the international scientists. And they are willing to continue. They are intrigued. They do not want to get to a conclusion, and we understand that. It is too much for a single investigation. But they are willing to continue, and that is a lot. That means a lot. That means that there is something to be studied there, and that means that these bodies are worth it. If they had found something that they did not like, I would assure you that they would not be even sitting here. They are here because they have seen that there's basis that the investigation can continue off of, and it is correct. But I think that we should start to reconcile with the science. I am willing, I am open. I'm open to talk with the Peruvian government, but what I want is to get to a common ground. And the common ground is the people of Nazca and Palpa and the tourists of all the world that are going to come. Is this not worth it? Is the answer to all of these mysteries of the past not worth it? If we consider that for a moment that these beings were very smart, that maybe they were the responsible for one of the most intriguing developments that are still in the mystery, like the aqueducts of Nazca. just beyond the figures, the aqueducts. There's technology there that is extraordinary. Who made it? How did they do it? And then these beings appear there. Lord, this should be of the most deep curiosity to know more. So I make a calling to the Peruvians to defend what is theirs and to not allow the Ministry of Culture of Peru that is driven by personal interests to capture these bodies and destroy them, because that can happen. That's what they came here for today. They wanted to take them, to say that they investigated them, to destroy them, to take something, to take anything, and to conclude that they were fake, like it's already happened. He is the artisan who said this. He went to the Minister of Culture. He went and said, "Here, it's mine. I made them. I am sending them to Mexico. Could you please give it back to me?" And they used them to say that all of them were made, and that cannot be done. That is not fair. But that's what happened, right, Mr. Manuel? Two last questions, please. Hello. My name is Jonathan Song. My following question is a question of a personal criteria with Mr. Mantilla and Mr. Maussan. In base of, Mr. Mantilla said some moments ago that for these discoveries to be evaluated in the most efficient way, they should be taken to international universities, renowned universities, to take approach of these extraordinary findings. Now, my question is, if we know that the Peruvian state are obstaculizing all of this, they're making hard all of these evaluations, then it's probable that for some criteria that they do not want to share these evaluations, that these findings exist. What would follow if we know that we're swimming against current? We're not going to wait for the time to pass, because you mentioned that these findings could be lost. So yeah, what would happen then? What would happen is what we're already doing. A lawsuit that is happening, that lawsuit has to be responded to, and I'm 99% sure that there's going to be a conciliation process, that there's going to be discussions, that there's going to be negotiations. In those negotiations, one of the conditions is going to be to continue the research. This is the process. Recuperation of all of the gathering of all of the bodies that are throughout the world. How? Getting the participation of the man that knows its findings. Two, to research, to achieve and to ask the government of Peru that they were wrong, that the bodies that they investigated were not the adequated, and that therefore it's necessary to continue with the investigation and to open the frontiers of Peru so that the bodies can get out to get studied and for them to get back after them, after international scientists study them. If they decide that this is a new species, that this is a new kind of human being, that they are from another place of space, be it what it has to be, but we arrive with an answer. And third, we need to protect these bodies. We need to avoid further decay. If they are not put in special chambers, these bodies are going to be lost. And the fourth, the construction of the special museum of the highest level that is going to be constructed through the negotiation of the museum. So the money of Peru is going to get back to Peru in the interests of Nazca and Palpa. That's what's going to happen, and that's what's happening. Like with John McDowell and Jim Caruso and William Rodriguez. They are really extremely renowned scientists. Their careers are full of success and recognition. Dr. McDowell, he was just awarded the most important prize award of the United States of forensic sciences. And he's here. Like, this is great level. For now, they're not going to say much, because they've just studied them for 2 days. But they've taken they take with them the seed of curiosity. They want to know more. They want to keep taking part of this investigation. And for me, that's enough. For me, that talks about that it's a success, this travel, this analysis, and that it's going to continue, that we're not going to stop. With the help of Dr. Rafael Arcángel Berrocal, we want to get to the conclusion of this lawsuit in the following days, not lose attention. Not a lot of time is going to pass, I assure you. And I hope that we can sensibilize the authorities of Peru so that they can acknowledge what they have in their hands. Maybe they don't even know what they have in their hands. They do not know. They don't know how important this is for Peru. This is what I can tell to you. Thank you, Jaime. And really, I agree with Jaime here. They do not know really the treasure that we have here. They cannot realize it. And a phrase that we have repeated these days: the eye cannot see what the mind does not know. And it really applies here. They do not have the capacity to see the great importance of the discovery that is really going to be considered within not so much time, as much as one of the most important discoveries of all times in Nazca, in Palpa, a region that really, without these tridactyl beings, is already an enigmatic region full of mysteries, and it does not need more. But that's how blessed our country is. The cultures, the lines, and even on top of that, we have, they blossom from the earth, this unique discovery in the history of the world that is going to change a lot of things. Now, the last question, please. Now, from Japan social media. Thank you. I'm part of a Japanese enterprise. I'm Ipe Tanaka. I know that this is already, this is still being investigated, but these humanoids, what relation do they have with the humans, with the pre-Incas humans, like in Nazca and Palpa? Like as a hypothesis, are they rivals? Were they rivals with our ancestors, or were they maybe friends with them? And who entered to this tomb and they found these bodies? We've talked about this iconography, but to answer your question, we have the theory that, of course, the anthropologists have to develop all of this. That's why the College of Anthropologists of Peru are here. But we have the hypothesis that they coexisted, they worshipped them, they registered them in all artworks that could be possible. You do not portray in the art of your people your enemies. You portray your gods. You put bills with the faces of your heroes, and I think that's akin to what's happening here, and it's some evidence that they coexisted with these beings with at least 1,100 years, because Maria, who the specimen that is in University of Inca, she has 1,800 years of years, and the most recent has around 500 years. So that makes an interval of 1,100 years of coexistence, which is more than some cultures have had with each other. So that questions we have how fascinating this research could be. How did they live? Who put them there? Why did they die? Was this woman that was pregnant, what happened to her in the last moments of her life? She was a youngster. She has a signal of a sun, of a golden sun in her forehead. Why? Why does another one have a metallic plate with letters in his neck? What does it say? What was the interaction between them? Why 7 species? Why all of them were pterodactyl? We do not know. Event will be the truth. Hopefully. Thank you. Now, in name of Jaime Maussan and Luis Mantilla, our hosts here of this press conference of pterodactyl beings of Nazca Palpa, and the distinguished table with the bodies. And thank you all for your assistance here, and I want to thank all of you. Thank you again. We're going to take a coffee break at the Sheraton Hotel. Have a wonderful day.
If you enjoy the strange and the mysterious, UFOs, the paranormal, and cryptids, this channel is for you. So make sure to subscribe, as I do 3 videos right here every single week, and hit that notification bell so you do not miss any of the bonus content I post right here.